Recognize the chairwoman of the full committee, the Honorable Maxine Waters, for 5 minutes for her questions.
Thank you very much, Congressman Green. I first would like to thank you for having not only the courage, but the energy that you're putting into raising, I think, one of the most significant questions about slavery that could possibly be raised. And you're in the right committee, to do that in the House of Representatives. I want to address a question to Dr. Darity. Do you believe that local laws and ordinances such as the City of Chicago's Business Corporate and Slavery Era Disclosure Ordinance passed in 2002 are effective measures to ensure financial institutions remedy any harm they cause through their involvement with slavery? In your opinion, should the federal government model these laws and require similar audits? Before you're answering that, I just want to, number one, remember my good friend, Dr. Ogletree, who has been involved in an aspect of this issue for so many years. He took me to Tulsa, and I've been to Tulsa several times, and I got to meet some of the survivors of the massacre that was right here and the Supreme Court case that took place. And so I have watched what was being done in Oklahoma. And when we talk about these local ordinances, I don't see that in Oklahoma they've been able to do more than kind of apologies, and I don't even think they have a statute. They have something else that they were doing. So, Dr. Darity, the question becomes, what about these local laws and ordinances? Are they effective?
I think the local laws and ordinances that seek full disclosure for the historical record from companies that do business with cities and states have been effective. The Chicago case has generated a significant amount of information about the historical practices of a number of firms. And so I think that's something that could be effectively replicated at the federal level. And I think it's very much in the spirit of your June 2020 inquiry with a number of corporations. There needs to be some teeth behind that inquiry in the sense that if they don't follow through, there should be some penalty that they're subjected to. But I think that is a very wise set of ordinances. In terms of other types of policies that have been pursued at the state and local level that aim at restorative justice, I'm probably not quite as enthusiastic. I don't think that the issue of the racial wealth gap in the United States can be addressed in any significant way without the federal government adopting a program of reparations for Black American descendants of U.S. slavery.
Why do you believe that the Tulsa massacre has never been significantly addressed in Oklahoma? They have not done anything with local ordinance, have they? Dr. Darity? Anybody? He's off the screen. Does anyone know what has been attempted in Tulsa to deal with the massacre that basically killed, murdered, and burned down all of the businesses of the Black community in Tulsa? Anyone
I apologize. I lost audio a moment ago, so I couldn't hear what your question was.
Well, my basic question is, have you any knowledge about anything that's been done locally in Tulsa to deal with this issue significantly?
Yes, you mentioned Dr. Ogletree, and he was deeply involved in an effort to try to get some sort of judicial-based compensation for the victims of the Tulsa massacre. And I think that most of the efforts that have been conducted in the Tulsa context have been attempts to go through the courts for some form of compensation, given the fact that the insurance companies did not provide any compensation.
Well, I want you to know that some of the original Black business individuals were alive when Ogletree was working on this issue. I met 3 or 4 of them. They're all dead now, but they got no
Yes.
compensation.
They got
got
no
nothing.
compensation. But I don't think this can be handled by going through the judicial route for one fundamental reason, which is that the federal government ultimately has jurisdiction over this array of massacres. There was 100 of them that took place. And the federal government either turned a blind eye, or it actually provided, in some instances, the arms that were used by the white terrorists. And so I think we really, again, have to turn to the federal government to try to address the full array of atrocities that
Thank
took
you
the
so
form.
much, Dr. Duarte. I'm way
Yes, sir.
past my time. The chair has been very generous. Thank you very much, Mr. Green.
The gentleman